You don't want me, I don't care. I don't care about you guys anymore.
Imagine being abandoned by your foster parents just because you're too quiet. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's the story of Kevin de Bruyne. Kevin wasn't just abandoned, he was also labeled a stubborn kid by his youth team coach and was always treated harshly. But de Bruyne's struggles didn't end in his childhood.
He's been the best player in the Premier League for the last 4 or 5 years since he came back from Germany.
Kevin is brain.
His former girlfriend cheated on him with his fellow Belgian teammate, Thibaut Courtois. That's a tough pill to swallow. And to make matters worse, his football career at that time was at its lowest point, with people calling him a flop. Mourinho even dubbed him a crybaby. So, how did Kevin de Bruyne turn his career around and become one of the best midfielders the sport has ever seen?
But I have to say, I came across a lot of players, played with a lot of players. So his brain is the best that I've seen.
For me, he's been the best player in the Premier League for the last 4 or 5 years. That's where you'd put him. You'd put him up alongside any midfield player who's ever played in the Premier League.
Kevin de Bruyne's journey to football stardom kicked off when he was just 6 years old, playing for his local club academy in Drongen. At the time, Kevin's bedroom was a Liverpool FC paradise. His mother, a Belgian born in Burundi who grew up in London, and his grandfather infused him with a deep passion for Liverpool. Young Kevin slept in Liverpool-themed bedding, donned LFC tracksuits, and his most treasured item was a well-worn Michael Owen replica shirt. Like any football-obsessed kid, Kevin played wherever and whenever he could. It was in a friend's garden that he mastered his weaker left foot. They had been wreaking havoc on the plants, so they were only allowed to use a plastic ball. Eventually, they struck a deal to use a real ball, but only if they played with their weaker feet. What started as a challenge turned into a secret weapon for Kevin, who practiced until his left foot was nearly as deadly as his right. By 8, Kevin became more ambitious. He decided that the training at KVV Drongen wasn't challenging enough and requested to move to KA Gent, a top-tier Belgian team. Always aiming higher, Kevin switched to KRC Genk when he was 14 years old. This team at the time was becoming famous for developing young talent.
I come home and my parents were like sad, crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? The foster parents don't want you to come back anymore. I'm like, why? Because of who you are.
This was a significant blow, not just personally but professionally, as the club then viewed him as a problem and didn't want to invest in another foster family for him. This rejection lit a fire in Kevin. When he returned to Genk, he played with a fierce determination, like a man on a mission. His breakthrough moment came when he scored 5 goals in one half after coming off the bench in a crucial match. This performance earned him the respect of his teammates and coaches. As time went on, Kevin de Bruyne's talent became the talk of the town. Then, out of the blue, his old foster family had a change of heart. They showed up at the club one day, and the woman approached him like it had all been a big misunderstanding. She said something like, "We wanted you to come back. We just wanted you to go to the boarding house during the week. You can stay with us on weekends." But Kevin wasn't having any of it. They had really hurt him and he was done with them. He replied, "No, you threw me in the garbage. Now I'm doing well, and you want me back." At just 17, Kevin made his professional debut with the Genk senior team. By the next season, he was a central figure on the team, playing 40 games and showcasing his impressive technique. He played an important role in helping Genk secure their 3rd Belgian title in the 2010-11 season. Leading his team to a championship at 19, Kevin knew he was destined for bigger things. He had outgrown Belgian football and was ready to compete at a higher level. And that became a reality when Chelsea came knocking on the door. On January 31st, 2012, Chelsea signed 20-year-old Kevin de Bruyne on a 5.5-year deal. Andre Villas-Boas, Chelsea's manager at the time, admitted Kevin wasn't his personal pick, but saw him as a long-term asset.
Usually we're like a team, they're all team goals, but that was him from the beginning to the end, actually creating this action and creating the space.
With Kevin de Bruyne, who lines up a shot and scores for City!
He scored a fantastic goal with his left foot.
Yeah.
So they won, and at Chelsea we were a little bit down, but it's part of football.
De Bruyne stayed at Genk for the rest of that season, only joining Chelsea after the 2011-12 campaign wrapped up. For Kevin, the move was a dream come true, but he knew breaking into Chelsea's star-studded first team, featuring fellow Belgian Eden Hazard, would be no walk in the park. Realizing that De Bruyne's chances for regular first-team football were slim at Chelsea, the club decided to send him on a season-long loan to German side Werder Bremen. This loan spell turned out to be incredibly beneficial. Kevin impressed everyone by scoring 10 goals and providing 9 assists in 34 appearances, even though Werder Bremen struggled overall. His stellar performances earned him the Bundesliga Young Player of the Year award, and he quickly caught the attention of other top German clubs, including Borussia Dortmund and Bayer Leverkusen. After his breakout season, Borussia Dortmund's coach, Jurgen Klopp, offered De Bruyne a permanent place in his team. Kevin was seriously tempted by the prospect of playing under Klopp, but Chelsea had other plans. They rejected the bid and called him back to Stamford Bridge, where a new challenge awaited him in the form of new manager Jose Mourinho. Mourinho saw him as a remarkable talent and promised to give him a place in the team, but returning to Chelsea was a costly move for De Bruyne. In the opening game of the Premier League season, Mourinho kept his promise and gave De Bruyne a starting spot against Hull City, and Kevin delivered. He put in a stellar performance, earning himself the Man of the Match title. Everything seemed to be falling into place for him, with a promising season on the horizon. But then came the disappointment. In the next match, away at Aston Villa, Kevin found himself on the bench, watching from the sidelines. He got another chance in the following game against Manchester United, but it didn't quite go as planned, and he never started in the Premier League for Chelsea again. Over the next 4 months, De Bruyne barely saw any action, clocking less than 300 minutes for Chelsea and starting only 1 game. He was mostly limited to League Cup matches and brief substitute appearances in the Premier League and Champions League. Sensing Kevin's growing frustration, Mourinho called him into a meeting with the other attacking midfielders, Eden Hazard, Juan Mata, Willian, Andre Schürrle, and Oscar. Mourinho laid out their key stats for the season: goals, assists, dribbles, key passes, and passing accuracy. The stats showed that De Bruyne was far behind when compared with other midfielders in the team. But De Bruyne wasn't interested in numbers. He wanted someone to believe in him. Realizing he had no future at Chelsea, De Bruyne was desperate for a fresh start. No more loans or sidelines. He wanted out for good. Mourinho, despite his doubts about Kevin's fight for his place at Chelsea, didn't really want to sell him. But Kevin's joy for the game was gone, and he pleaded for a transfer. His constant plea for a move out of Chelsea resulted in Mourinho calling him a crybaby. However, De Bruyne himself was clear. He had lost his joy playing at Chelsea. In January 2014, Wolfsburg came to the rescue with an £18 million bid, and De Bruyne headed back to the Bundesliga for a much-needed new beginning. Once he joined Wolfsburg, Kevin quickly reminded everyone why he was so highly regarded. In the latter half of the season, he scored 3 goals and provided 6 assists in just 16 league appearances. But it was the 2014-15 season that truly marked his rise to stardom. As De Bruyne was getting his career back on track, something devastating happened. His girlfriend cheated on him, not just with anyone, but with his fellow Belgian teammate Thibaut Courtois. This betrayal was even more painful because De Bruyne and Courtois had been close friends. De Bruyne's girlfriend showed no remorse for her actions. After the rumors broke out, she didn't deny them. Instead, she stated, "Thibaut gave me in that one night what I'd sorely missed for 3 years with Kevin. With Thibaut, I could have good conversations, and he also cooked nicely for me. Such a thing Kevin never did. And then suddenly, we clicked." This betrayal caused open conflict between De Bruyne and Courtois. Belgium's manager at the time, Mark Wilmots, even asked De Bruyne if he should avoid calling up Courtois to the national team. Kevin's answer was simple: "I do not think I had the right to say that he cannot play for the national team anymore because he did something wrong. Of course, he remains a good goalkeeper, so he should stay." Did all these controversies affect Kevin De Bruyne's on-pitch performance? Not at all. De Bruyne exploded onto the scene as one of Europe's hottest talents. He scored 10 goals and set a league record with 21 assists, helping Wolfsburg qualify for the Champions League and finish as runners-up to Bayern Munich. To top it off, he scored in the German Cup final, securing a 3-1 victory over Borussia Dortmund. Then came the 2015 summer transfer window. Manchester City, known for their big spending, swooped in with a £55 million offer and secured De Bruyne on a 6-year contract. In his first season under Manuel Pellegrini, De Bruyne won City's Player of the Month award 4 times and scored 16 goals.
For De Bruyne shot! De Bruyne scores! Kevin de Bruyne once again! By Kevin de Bruyne! 1-0 to Manchester City!
He helped City win the League Cup and reach the Champions League semi-finals for the first time, earning high praise from Pellegrini, who called him the perfect player. The next season brought a new challenge, with Pep Guardiola taking over as manager. Guardiola experimented with De Bruyne's position, playing him all over the midfield and wings to find the best fit for his talents. Despite the constant changes, Kevin thrived, leading the Premier League with 18 assists and creating over 100 chances, second only to Christian Eriksen.
He's more mature and he has incredible confidence. He understands the game perfectly right now, much better. And this goal, for example, the quality he execute the goal, he proved how important it is. I think he feels now himself a better player. He will not admit it because he's so shy. With this amount of quality player, how humble it is. He doesn't want to pretend, outside or inside to be something different than what he is. And normally, the biggest players are more like this than the normal players that I believe they are masters. And I like to work with nice people like Kevin, like being a top-class player, could behave completely differently for the quality that he has, and he's completely different. He's a normal guy, like he likes to be the normal things and enjoy playing football.
Guardiola eventually found De Bruyne's best role, a deeper central midfield position often referred to as a free 8. In this role, De Bruyne became the team's heartbeat, dictating play and launching attacks with his incredible vision and pinpoint passing. Over the past decade, Manchester City has won 15 major titles, and at the center of it all has been Kevin de Bruyne. His contribution to the team's goals is nothing short of remarkable, with an astonishing 272 goal involvements to his name. But that's not all. He made history by becoming the fastest player to reach 100 assists in the Premier League. He achieved this milestone in just 237 games. That's a staggering 56 games fewer than the previous record holder, Cesc Fabregas. As of now, he sits second on the all-time assist leaderboard with 116 assists, trailing only the legendary Ryan Giggs, who racked up 162 assists during his illustrious career with Manchester United. But knowing De Bruyne's drive and determination, it won't be long before he claims that top spot for himself. De Bruyne's intelligence and maturity make him a complete midfielder, and at 31, he just keeps getting better with age. His journey from being the quiet kid nobody wanted to becoming one of the world's best midfielders is nothing short of inspirational.